We even got Luigi here.
Hello.
And Mario.
So, this is the panel for Russell Barba, formerly of Sega of America, and you designed some of our favorite childhood Sega games.
Which ones? I don't remember. That was a long time ago.
Jurassic Park, and Taz-Mania, and that's all that I know.
There was Wild Woody I was more part of.
Yeah.
There was Dominion, which didn't really come out. It did come out, didn't come out. It came on PC, but not on the other system. Did something for Humongous. I forget the character's name. It's a guy with the glasses. It's a little nerdy guy.
So, Russell, would you like to tell us about how you got started in the video game industry and like how what it is that you did at Sega and a little bit about that?
Started out as part of, excuse me, throat's kind of messed up because of cold, and it's the right season.
It happens.
But let me sit down for a minute, because after all my injuries, it's not quite the same like it used to. You can stand hours at a time. But can everyone hear me fine, or do I need to use a speaker? Sing karaoke to you guys in the most horrible voice possible. And you don't want that to happen, because I sound like William Shatner when I do it. But yeah, like I said, it's all, I started out with building a project for, in my junior college classes, called Brand Injustice. It was done on the Amiga. And it was for, it was done on a bet, actually, which is usually what a lot of projects are done, that it wouldn't be done. And Chris was supposed to bring it if anyone wanted to see it, but we don't have a VCR. Sorry about that. And basically it was shown at the Modesto Colossal Con, and the guys from Visual Concepts saw it, the art director, and he liked it. But if you guys want to see the actual model from the story, I got it in my briefcase. It's a grown man playing with Ken dolls. Yes, I know. But it worked. It got the project done faster and efficiently. And this is a magical bottle of water. And this is a microphone. And I patched him together from different parts and stuff at flea markets, and put this character together, and we used him for like 2 months straight. He was built with airplane wing joints. His knees are cut out here. And they saw this and they go, wow, you're not supposed to do this with the Amiga. Because we were the first to use the demo for the Bryce thing, the generator for terrain. And we have him flying around through this terrain fighting a robot. And this is before people jumping for plagiarizing too, because I used old images of Sonora to build his western town. And so he's flying around and he's fighting this alien guy, and that's it. And so we went through that, and he saw it, and he goes, wow, I like it. Here's my card, come back and talk to me. So I went to him, got a job with Visual, worked on Taz-Mania for months and months and months. Me and the art director had a problem because he never was happy with Taz. He wanted first Chuck Jones Taz. So you study Chuck Jones. Then he wanted the secondary Chaz between Chuck Jones and Taz-Mania. So you start studying that one. And then he wants Taz-Mania finally. So by then you've got 3 different incarnations of Taz floating around in the game. And by then it's like we had a falling out. But by then the art director of Visual moved over to Sega. And he then gave me a call, goes, hey, we need someone to fix up artwork here at Sega, working on Jurassic Park. What would you like to do that? I go, sure. It's better than what I'm at now, actually. And so I went over there, and did Jurassic Park. Started with the icon tiles, getting that functional, and then moved on to scenery, sets, animation of dinosaurs. And then moved on to, final cleanup and then it done. Then, because as a contractor, when the job ends, you wait till the next contract comes in.
So when you say Jurassic Park, you mean the movie?
The CD, Jurassic Park CD.
Sega CD.
For the Sega CD, where you go exploring the park. I guess it's considered, someone told me, the first action adventure one of the first where you go through and you play it like a Resident Evil. You're going through clicking icons, because it was new for its time, is what I found out.
That's the only one I haven't played.
Yeah, a lot of people have them, because a lot of people didn't have the Sega CD.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
I have one now.
And so they did that, and it's considered a hard game too. For some, I've never played it, but it was considered a hard game.
Yeah, most Sega CD games are hard.
Yeah.
Except for Sonic CD.
Sonic CD.
And that one's hard too to perfect.
Well, it is hard to get all the chaos in.
You had to be a hardcore Sega fan to get the Sega CD, so the challenge was kind of, a given. Everything on there was really challenging. Most of it on the Sega CD. It was great. Jurassic Park Sega CD was one of the best Jurassic Park games back in the 90s.
Like while Woody was at the end of the CD era, as where the other system, the Saturn, it's like the sad part about Saturn is, even when I was working there, they could see it was already at death's door. It was just filler till the next generation of games would come out. And it's just one of those. And then after that, Jurassic Park ended months and months of dinosaur cleaning, and then Wild Woody, and you did design work for that. I worked on Mech World, redesign. You get these rough comps from the game designer, and the game designer actually was a Dungeons and Dragons DM. And I thought it was interesting at the time, the game designers at that time one was a high school teacher, one was a public access producer, and the last one was a Dungeons and Dragons dungeon master. And none of them come from the background of games.
But you have a unique creative team.
Yeah. And basically, back in those days, what we did in 2 years, you were supposed to do in 5 years. So you're pretty much burnt out after every game. And you really don't really feel like playing games at that point. What's worse is when I would talk to the game testers, because their area was right next to my art thing. So I talked with them guys a lot, and they would go, "You learn to hate video games to game testing." You're there going, when you have to sit there and make a game crash over and over and over and document it, and it crashes one way, you got to make sure it doesn't crash another way. You got to make it crash this way, and by the end of the day, they didn't want to see video games anymore, which was interesting about that. And you meet a lot of neat people. Like I met Ernie Chan there of Conan the Barbarian, and then Chris was telling me that Ernie, when you go through his biography, don't even acknowledge the fact he ever worked at Sega. And he did work at Sega. He did early comps for an X-Men fighter game for Sega. It was going to be on Sega CD. He redesigned for the second Virtual Fighter. He designed all those characters.
And why do you think he left that out of his filmography?
I think they leave it out of his filmography, not the people. It's the game designers, the people who write it. They don't know that he did that, because when you think of Ernie Chan, you think of Conan the Barbarian. It's like two names that are synonymous with Conan: Sal Buscema and Ernie Chan.
And Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger, yes. And also Drago now, since he did it from Game of Thrones. We always remember him as, we don't remember his name, but we do remember him as Drogo or Drago, however you want to pronounce it, from Game of Thrones nowadays.
And he's going to be Aquaman.
Yes. The swift, powerful monarch of the ocean, Aquaman! And you're going, how did he go from this blonde-haired Ken doll all the way to Conan the Barbarian. Gotta wonder about that. Were they just afraid of all the stereotypes they'd get from Ken dolls to Aquaman with his little boy sidekick Aqualad? Batman, they can hide it because a few of his died, so they live. He can live in denial. Aquaman doesn't. Aqualad lived.
Yeah, I'll wait for the movie to pass.
It's
judgment
rumored.
on
It's
that.
rumored he's supposed to be in the new Superman Batman.
Oh, he's gonna be in Batman v Superman. I just don't know if it's gonna be like, because I'm a huge DC fanboy.
Oh yeah, so am I.
And right now I'm kind of like, I don't know. It doesn't look like my DC, So.
My problem is my DC doesn't look like the current DC.
Yeah.
And the closest I've came to the DC I know is Convergence, that series, where I got to see all the super characters I knew, back when Superman wore his underpants on the outside, and he wasn't like Batman. He actually was Superman, a Boy Scout, not Batman with superpowers. Because that's been a big problem selling Superman lately, is the fact that the characters are too much identical in the DCU now. And you're going, why did you even bother with New 52? And then you do this convergence. We're going to correct mistakes. No, they didn't correct mistakes. They created more mistakes. And now you got the Secret Wars happening, and you're going, why did you do that, Marvel? Just to kill the Fantastic Four so Sony can't steal anything from you guys anymore?
That is absolutely the reason. They're like, we're done with Fantastic Four and X-Men if we can't even make our own movies off of them.
Yeah, that's why they don't call mutants in the Marvel Universe, I found out last night. There's some other name for them. And the Fantastic Four was killed off after the Secret Wars because they don't want Sony to have them. They want to let the license go.
It's Fox.
Is it Fox? Okay.
Yeah. Sony was nice enough to let Marvel have Spider-Man back.
Yeah, but Fox doesn't want them to have the rights of the X-Men. And they want their X-Men back, or at least utilizing them. And Hugh Jackman wants to do an Avengers film as Wolverine before he retires.
It would be cool, but it's unfortunately not going to happen because the
No.
higher-ups at Fox are...
They see too much money in it. They go, we lost Star Wars to Disney. We can't afford to lose X-Men now. We turned this kind of this questionable franchise around, and all of a sudden we've got a money cow franchise again. And they go, no, we don't want Disney's hands in it. It's bad enough Apocalypse looks like Ivan Ooze.
Yeah. All right. Well, was there anything else that you wanted to say about your career in the video game?
It's kind of hard to say about your career and toot your horn because you don't know what direction the audience wants. You know what I'm saying? It's easier to say, ha ha ha, I was great. Worship me. I am the greatest guy ever. When actually you're part of a stable. You're there to put on a show for other people to entertain them. It's almost like wrestling. They get together every day, put together a show just to entertain other people. And it's quite amazing how many people it took, what it takes now to make a video game. There's people who do line work, people that do colors, people that do models. When I was doing it, you had to be the artist to do the line work. You had to do the animation. You had to do the everything functional about it.
So you're doing both the concept art and the...
Yes, you had to do design and concept.
You did programming as well?
No, programming were the guys in the other room. It's them other guys. And it's kind of like the guys who did Sega, who did Sonic. They lived in another building because they had Sonic there in San Mateo. We had the Sonic building. There was the Sega building, and then there's the Sonic building. You would never see any of them leave, other than to go outside and smoke. And they would stay there from the time they get up to the time to go to bed at like 2, 3 a.m. in the morning. And then when they got up, they hit the bars. And they were there at 6 a.m. every morning programming again. Pile of cigarettes, and that's it. You just fed them smokes, they believed, and they would keep working. That's how bad it was.
Nutritious cigarettes.
Yes.
What was What was the well, it's probably been a long time, but what was the interview like getting into Sega of America and things like
Well,
that?
when I went through, I got interviewed by the game designers and the art director. I had to go through the art director first, and then she passed me to the producers and game designers. And I spent the entire time talking about The Simpsons. And they go, yeah, we want this guy because he knows he's not there. Yes, I'm going to tell you what you want to hear just to have this job. No, I'm just having a good old time dressed in just casual wear. Because my mom goes, don't you want to wear a suit and tie? No, I hate wearing suits and tie, Mom. I'm just going to take it off when I get in the car, so what's the difference? I'm just going to leave it at home. And it's like, she goes, you look like a slob. It's the way I always dress, Mom. It's what they're going to, if they're going to hire me, this is what they're going to get.
Yeah.
And basically, they interviewed. They go, what are your feelings about games? How was your last experience? What got you into games? What got you into doing what you're doing today? And they ask you stuff like that. So you would sit there and you go, what got me into this? And that's the hard part. You got to ask yourself, what got yourself into it? Most people I talk to who are getting video game, I really find, because my experience with the games is when people say, I'm getting a video game degree, it's a throwaway degree. Because they're getting no experience in art, in design. They're all just reading, and what I've seen, watching my friend's Robbie over there, his sister's Markiplier videos, everyone's just regurgitating the same thing, hoping they're going to get a cash cow. And there's no imagination to it anymore. Everyone's too busy redesigning the next Halo instead of thinking, what is the next game to play? Because that's why I didn't buy PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3, Xbox, X1, because I don't like pizza shooters, as I call them. I used to play them all the time in the arcade. Operation Wolf is basically Halo's thinking. There's nothing. Yes, it's imaginative, but it's still just Operation Wolf. You just move forward, kill the enemy, move forward, kill the enemy, with the illusion that you're accomplishing something. I found PlayStation 2 and 1 stuff more interesting because you had the action adventure game. You had to run back and forth. They were more free roam than what we consider free roam today. It's like, okay, you had to go all the way around, go get a stupid lion eye. A stupid lion eye back in an area you already cleared. And you're going, luckily I killed every damn zombie in that area. If not, I'd have to kill them all again. Because most people go, why do you kill them all? Because I don't want to fight them again. Because that was the thing about them. You killed them, they're gone. Except for the Tyrant. And Nemesis is the only one I had to code. Because you turn like a tank. That was one of the inherent weaknesses of a Resident Evil game. No matter how hard you move like a tank. You couldn't turn in tight corners. Wide areas you could, small areas you couldn't. And then I played 4. I liked that. Got me to buy the GameCube. And then I saw 5. I'm going, what did you do to my Resident Evil? The last one was John Carpenter, yes, but it was still Resident Evil with Cliff Notes. Because when I see you had a little thing on the button, go here, move here, move here. I'm going, oh my God, they're giving us Cliff Notes now. And but it was still a good game until I got stuck. Then it became a horrible game, which is the way all games work actually. But there's also a certain thing with video games too, I believe, that you don't need a college degree to play them. That was my problem with Halo. You need a college degree to learn to play it. You need a minimum of 6 to 10 hours to play it. If you have no experience with a shooter, you're there fumbling around getting your ass kicked by people and they're laughing at you. Especially when you have your friend who says, I'm going to show you, and he's killing you with a knife deliberately. Look, I just killed Russ. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And the king goes, that doesn't matter. You chose to play. Fine. I'm going to put the controller here. Kill me all you want. When you guys leave, I will learn to play it. And then I try and go, I don't like this thing. I want to play Street Fighter now. It's just one of those games. It's all, and then games are all preference too. But when they preference down to games, to one type of game, that's where it hurt, I think, the market too. You know, when you think about it, we're funneled down to only, we don't have the platform jumpers, we don't have the runaround shooters, we don't have, we basically have shooters that follow one linear path. And you get from point A to point B, move forward, point A to point B. I think the throwback games is basically the Metal Gear Solids. But that's not enough, one game, to make me spend that much on a system. Yeah.
So, what do you think about some of the spiritual successors that are coming up, like Ukulele and Mighty Number 9?
I haven't seen anything on them.
Like Ukulele is supposed to be a recreation of Banjo-Kazooie, almost, but with different characters.
Does it have Banjo-Kazooie in it?
No, it's just...
I hated that character. I refused to play those games. That character was so annoying in the commercials. I go, no, I'm not playing that game.
Well, I love Banjo-Kazooie. But yeah, that's essentially what Ukulele is. It's made by the people that got fired from Rareware back in the day that actually made Banjo-Kazooie, and now they've created, it's Playtonic, right? That's what they're calling it. They created a new studio called Playtonic, and they're making Ukulele, which is essentially a Banjo-Kazooie clone, and it plays exactly the way that a 90s platformer plays, and I think it's great. I wish that Naughty Dog would, you know, maybe stop making Uncharted once in a while to maybe make another, you know, Crash Bandicoot, you know, but hey.
But the thing is that those were, if you want to watch Crash Bandicoot, just watch Sonic Boom. That series was supposed to be Crash Bandicoot, but they pulled out the last minute.
It's
not even Sonic, if you think about it, but it's because you're taking one series, shoehorning in other characters that shouldn't be there. You know, and that's a big problem too a lot of times.
And Sonic Boom, that's the one where Knuckles skipped leg day, right?
Yep.
That's the one Chris Chan, if you think about, actually won his war because the show was canceled. Chris Chan won. We don't want to see Chris Chan win, but he won. We got to admit that. Sonic Chu won a battle.
Question in the back.
Do you have any bizarrely unprofessional stories of stuff that would happen like back in the?
I have more bizarre stories about after Sega. I went into helping my friend back there, Mike. He started a show in a public access show called Wasteland TV. We have more bizarre stories about the guy next to him.
Yes, that's what Robin does.
Like where we made him run around a parking lot chasing my car. Or we moved the car and we parked it behind a recycling center, and when he had a cell phone, we were telling him, we're over here. And he'd go running. We're all laughing because he's running over there. And we go, oh, we already moved. Where are you guys? We're back in Cryers. So he's running all the way across this huge parking lot to the game shop. And he's like, oh, you guys ain't here. Oh, sorry, we moved the car again. We're at In-N-Out Burger. So he's running all the way out to In-N-Out Burger. We kept this on for about a half hour on him. He never forgave us. The scarring still hasn't healed. But what kind of weird stories do you want exactly? We went to a strip bar, Visual Concepts. And all the programmers I went with were afraid to go to the second floor for full frontal nudity. I went, just to prove them wrong. You know, they're going, are you guys going to go? No. Fuck it, we're here. I'm going to go do it. Excuse my French. And then, as the night progressed, you go to the bathroom and you go, I got to go drop a bomb. I've been here too long. And you go in there, and then you have this huge Swedish guy standing over the toilet. Looks down on you while you're dropping the bomb, and he's going, having a nice evening? I love this place. Yeah. I come here every year. And then we'll have to end it here because we have children present now. Sorry, guys.
Does anybody else have any questions for Russell?
Is there a difference between designing the game with a known cartoon character like Taz versus designing a game with a completely new character?
Original characters are harder because Taz came with a design Bible.
Right.
So we knew Taz's world. we knew what Taz's villains look like because they're all from the cartoon. So while Woody, we didn't know what the villains look like. We didn't know what the worlds look like until you start building them. We don't know even what Wild Woody looks like yet till we got a Disney animator in there. We didn't know what it is. You build it up and you test it, and it's like, we don't like this. Producer, send it back. Okay, so you're going, what do we do here? Start all over. Producers go, we like this. And then the next upgrade. We don't like what we liked before, but we want something different now. So they're never quite happy till 0 hour when they go, you guys got to put this game together. We put this much money into it. Get it done. But like I said, Taz, like if you go out to the thing, I had the sketchbooks there with all the design studies and world things. They all are based off of Warner Brothers designs. Warner Brothers, because from Chuck Jones all the way to Taz-Mania, there is a slew of history that you put into the game. Woody, we have no design Bible. Stick figures and this is Mech World. Design it. That's it. Like even in the museum, I gave Chris a bunch of my stuff to show. I didn't think he'd show that many of them. Like I heard people talk about, I really love the alien in the go-kart. That was a throw-out idea game for Woody. Wild Woody, and they go, everyone designed cars to race against Woody. And my concept was an alien racing an old 50s style racer. And everyone had something different. But they didn't like the idea, so it didn't go through. Jurassic Park is, you're going, well, this is kind of hard because we're dealing with realism, but it still has a design Bible set by Steven Spielberg. Yeah. We had Richard Barker, you know, the anthropologist Gleason in 3. He came in and helped us figure out how to move the dinosaurs correctly. That was, when we literally had him in there walking through and go, do this right, they didn't quite have this on it, this shouldn't be this way, this shouldn't be that way.
So you have a guide to go by.
Yeah, and then we had an anthropologist come in and also say, a paleoanthropologist come in and say, you guys got to adjust this slightly. This is what the current version of a dinosaur looks like. Because I thought it was interesting with Dot Mojo that they go, the science was wrong on Jurassic Park. Yes, the science was wrong because we had, from Jurassic Park to today, almost 20 years of science changes. Back when Jurassic Park was on, yes, we had the theory we can drill into the things, pull the DNA out, and grow a dinosaur. Now it's just science fiction. But the point being is, how can you condemn a movie for having bad science when at the time it was done, it was correct science. It was fringe science, which is all science for the most part. But Dot Mojo gets people to watch it, so I guess they did it.
I think it's funny that some of the famous paleontologists and scientists that worked on the first Jurassic Park with Steven Spielberg tried to work with Colin Trevorrow on Jurassic World, and he's like, nah, I'm not going for scientific accuracy at all in this movie. In fact, he has said in many interviews that he just was trying to capture the look of the dinosaurs from the first film. The excuse built into the movie, of course, is that they're made purely for attraction.
Yes.
You know, and it's
it gives them the excuse. Okay, if we change Jurassic Park in any such way, would people see it if the dinosaurs don't look like the initial dinosaurs? You know, it's like me and Robbie over there were talking one night that we were saying the theory that the T-Rex in the new film is the same as the first film. It cost him too much to build a new one.
Yeah.
And that's why he does the whole roar at the end, just like the first one. You know, you get your big Godzilla fight, you know, between all the monsters, and then you get the roar at the end when everyone goes, "Oh, we escaped," till the sequel. But luckily, Star-Lord was there to save us.
Yeah. It's good. You know, I honestly, like, whenever they try to do go more realistic, like in Jurassic Park 3 when the raptors had the feathers and everything, like, I know that that's probably more scientifically accurate, but I just don't like that look, you know?
Yeah.
I like them lizard looking, you know?
Yeah.
Who else likes classic dinosaurs that look like dinosaurs? Everyone, right?
And what is really a classic dinosaur anymore with people jumping in and redesigning them? You got to choose the best artist you like. Like, I'd have to say for dinosaur artists I've seen, Frank Cho is the best one, hands down. You know, he does this great picture of King Kong fighting the T-Rex and the T-Rex is spot on beautiful in it. And he's done this in a lot of his stuff since he was in college with Liberty Meadows. And you're going, wow, this guy knows dinosaurs. He studied them. He knows how they move. He knows how they walk. And he changes them according to how they move, but he keeps the same design, so not to confuse his viewers. Kind of like his women. If you ever look at his women and think, they're pretty much the same spot on, too. They follow a formula. Because he knows that's what people pay him for.
You should know that art side.
Yes. Balloons. We'll just say balloons.
Any other questions? Questions, comments, concerns?
Okay, I have one final question. Was there any like specific computer programs that you used? when
We
you were
used
programming?
we used Tomb to build the bitmaps. Programming was C for that day, which most people are surprised when I sit there and look at the internet. I'm going, this is just basic. This is what is used for most games today, for like app games, is the same layout and design that you use for the old video games of that era, because they all got to still follow the Sprite 16 by 16 box. They all got to be built so they're efficient and they move fast. If not, it's going to slow down on itself and crash, because a game doesn't have the speed of, like, let's say an arcade or a home system. And a home and an app game usually is played on the server itself of the SID, so it's got to download into it and then turn off. So you got to turn it. You got to make it as simple as possible for it to be moved back and forth in information. So it still follows a lot of parameters. And an app game, if you look at it, also a lot of them follow HyperCard from Apple. If you ever program that, and I go, wow, this is HyperCard. This is that, because and you don't realize this type of stuff until people told you. You know that PlayStation 1 you're playing? Yeah, that's just an Amiga. The PlayStation 2, that's the next stage of an Amiga. They're not, they're old, and the Super Nintendo was a Commodore. I think it was a Commodore 64. They were old computer systems that were obsolete in the market, but they refurbished them to a new functionality where you could use them. And they don't tell you this unless you worked in the thing. And you're going, wow, I did not know that. That explains why this system had better graphics, but it was slower here. This system was better here, but not here. Because like Sega had sound, Super Nintendo didn't. You know, Sega had a smaller palette, Super Nintendo had a bigger palette. That was one of the difference between the two systems. And so you work with, I think Sega was 32 colors. Super Nintendo was 64. It's been a while, so you guys got to cut me some slack on what this stuff is. I'm kind of winging it here. You know, you guys got to give me some information, some room. You know, some feedback here, some emotional feedback. I'm beginning to feel sad here.
I don't remember the technical specs, so I couldn't tell you.
I can lie. It was beamed in from the Enterprise. How's that? There's a spaceship above that gives us the treats of video games. We really put blank CDs in our systems, and they download the games into us all this time. That's how it works.
Any other questions?
So what's the balance between companies that have the employees doing the work versus having outside consultants help?
Well, outside the company, they work the same. The contractors and the inside. The only difference is, inside, you know when it's raining, you're still going to have a job. When a contract ends, you got to hope they give you a new contract in their budget, because they only have a limited budget to hire so many contractors. And once that budget ends, so does the job until the next fiscal year, which was every 6 months, I think it was. So you had to balance your finances so you wouldn't go broke. And so basically it's about budgeting. When you're in-house, you always are safe. Contracting, it's this many amount of hours. So let's say we're going to hire Luigi here for 20 hours, but we're going to hire Robbie for 5 because that's all the budget allows.
So the contract is there to supplement the staff, or to
Supplement the staff.
or to
Because basically most staff is, when I was at Sega, was the art director, the lead artist, and the key animator. Me and one other guy were contractors, and we did a lot of horse work. We did the tweeners, the cleanup, the designing, the building of tiles, as well as design work on the things. But we were there for a lot of design meetings, but there were some that only called for just a lead animator, just a lead artist. And those guys would move to the next level, basically above your pay grade level of meetings. Because the higher up you go in meetings, the less they need certain people. And contracting was easier to put more bodies in certain areas. Programmers were the only ones that weren't contracted, because the programmers are the brains of the system. So you always need a programmer. And so programmers always were insured jobs. That would be the best example. And there's only one sound guy and one music guy. Now I think they have orchestras like a movie now.
Yeah.
And the smaller company, like Visual was a small company. It was basically about the size of this entire room. They had to contract out for music. As where Sega was a bigger company, it was bigger than this place here. And you had a movie thing. Over here was a production, art, game testers. And then a little bit over was the San Francisco's therapy booth. A few people got lucky to meet Joe Montana. The only one I got to meet was Ronnie Lott.
Well, he's still cool.
Yes. But not as cool as Joe. It was the heyday of Joe Montana. Come on. I met Sinbad.
Awesome.
You know, his best movie was Jingle All the Way.
I like that. Any other questions? Any other questions?
Yes, exactly what games did you work on? You mentioned Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park.
Resident Evil. What else?
Dominion.
That's PC, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did the maps, the tile maps for it. If you look carefully at it, because I was pissed off at them, because you get tired of doing maps and you want to do something else. One of the maps is actually huge amounts of penises. I can say that now because the company's dead, and so is the game. Huge amounts of, it's like all the maps make balls and penises everywhere. And it's all a village of people, so they're walking all over these, and no one noticed. Because they had to go through 75 levels of this stuff.
Awesome. Well, Russell, did you have anything else that you wanted to say?
I don't know. What would you say exactly? How would you describe it? How would you guys describe the experience? Because you guys are the ones that the input is more important than what I go home and go, I'm still going to sleep at night. I don't care if you guys feel horrible. You know, it's just one of those like that. What did you guys feel out of
I had a
it?
good time.
I thought it was a great time, although we had
A what?
a small group.
Oh, yeah. But sometimes a small group is better than a larger group because it's more intimate, more people can interact, and it's more of a conversation than a, ha ha ha, I am God, you're going to listen to what I have to say and like it.
Actually, you got a bigger turnout. Brian's
Panel earlier was just 4 people.
Who's Brian?
Brian Linville, he is like the,
Simple game, right?
yeah.
Those in Sacramento.
So I think this is pretty good.
Yes, you guys should be proud.
Question, do you ever like look at one of the games you created, like after it's done, and like be like, I designed that.
Now I do. I go through some of the old magazines and online. I was there, typed in Jurassic Park because my friend wanted to see him. I'm going, holy shit, there's Jurassic Park images here. Did that one. I cleaned up that dinosaur. I built that entire crash scene of the helicopter. I built that the hub where the T-Rex went in. And a lot of the interior rooms you see in there, I built interface, the things you go explore, pick up stuff. You know, because I've got here, if you guys want to come up and see it, is this. I started with those, but I also built the ones that are function in the game too, where you find them blend into the map. See, here's what I was talking about with the sprites. And you know, he starts out as simple design like that, and then you build stuff like this. And you know, you put the different texture colors, see what it's like, different robots for each world. And then
you
go,
just make these.
and there's like Ernie Chan proof.
Wow.
The late Ernie Chan, my friend, it's only fair he gets credit. You know. But yeah, this is all built in 16 by 16 tiles. You only had like 150 tiles to build something like this.
So you just paste them on there?
No, you actually get a little map and you build it. So you got to make sure they can repeat with no with no problems, so they don't fizzy. Because there's a difference between printout and TV screen.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes a TV screen will change the colors of your pixels.
Gotcha.
So you got to make sure that doesn't happen. And you got to make sure there's no blinking like in animation. Like let's say these are animated eyes here. And so you got to make sure they all blink into so many amount of tiles. So you got to make sure they blink off and on, they do what they're supposed to, and stuff like that. The full world map is over in the museum. But like I said, this is a good example here of a small group versus a huge group. I couldn't share this with all you guys.
It was like 10 times as many.
10 times as many, and everyone will be fighting and bucking heads to be first in line, and by the time they fight to get there, no one could enjoy it.
So, if you could bring back one of your games, which one would you do and what would you change with them, if you could?
Do I get to be God on it?
For this question, yeah, let's say so.
Jurassic Park. It's the one I enjoyed working on the best. Because I enjoyed the monsters. I enjoy just monsters and dinosaurs and stuff like that, like the rest of you guys. And I didn't realize it till after I started working on it.
So what are you working on now?
I do photography, and I do work on his show. We've been trying to get back up and running on YouTube, Wasteland TV. We started Wasteland TV 2.0, and then we did a whole bunch of like almost 100 episodes for public access.
Yes.
Got in the newspaper.
That was newspaper 3 times actually with that. So
Yeah.
that was Channel 26 Modesto public access.
And we didn't realize we were going somewhere until someone went to this guy at a Comic-Con and go, "You're Robbie here. Where's your buddy Brandon?" And he's like,
Me and Brent are kind of like the Abbott and Costello of the,
Yes.
of the group.
and so,
Not Laurel and Hardy.
yeah. Yeah, basically they're built like Laurel and Hardy.
You already know, yeah, but they're not attending.
And doing stuff like that, I was doing the Robot Chicken stuff for his show because I do a lot of doll stuff and stuff like that for him. A lot of the camera and film work and trick photography type stuff. And then when he hurt his back, I had to do a lot of episodes to keep us up to speed and stuff like that.
So this is active on YouTube now? Or?
Yeah, you can see that. There's 4 of them actually, 4 channels.
Yeah, we have Wasteland TV. Wasted Modesto is what the original was, where it showed clips of the from the show. Wasteland TV, Modesto was it?
Well, there's a Waste Modesto.
And the sounding board, which was
Sounding
movies
board.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, they're just more like Cisco Ebert type of stuff.
Okay.
Movie reviews, stuff like that. And of course, Wasteland TV 2.0.
Yeah.
As well as, of course, Wasteland TV 2.
Yeah.
That's more D&D stuff like that.
Yeah, it was an entire D&D series. That's what I remembered Robbie in it. A lot of people could relate with him because this is the only person that had 52 characters die in 1 year at my hands.
Oh, well, if we're talking about that, we might as well talk about all the stupid stuff I've done in D&D.
Like 52 dudes?
Yes.
Yes, he was playing a female character, and we go, no, use your imagination. And he goes, no, I want to roll it off. Okay, just roll the D20 in your Constitution.
No. They brought out the big dirty book.
No, that was a different day. Because he was being a turd, so I bought the D&D erotica book, where it has all the dirty stuff. I go, here, Robbie, choose from this. And he's there. And then Autumn was sitting next to him and goes, you could be that. And he's turning red with embarrassment. And we're going, yes, we got him. And then after a week later, I want to play the Cleric of Love. 5 days later, less than 20 seconds later in the game, he gets declericked. That's pretty bad. But if we want to talk about Robbie highlights is when he wished for a mountain of gold, because he did his task. And then he tells God, I want it right here. And he goes, you for sure you want it right here? Yes, I want it here. Are you for sure? Yes, I want it right here. And he's pissed off at me because I'm asking him, okay, you see the world get dark around you. And everyone around you is happy. Why? Because you just made them all rich with the mountain of gold that landed on top of them, destroying the entire land's economy. And he goes, do I live? No, the mountain landed on here. You said you wanted it right here.
All right, we are just about out of time.
Does anybody have anything else they wanted to say? Russell?
To any relatives in other countries, we'll put this on YouTube for you guys.
Okay, cool.
Say something. You said okay.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, YouTube.
Hi, Mom.
You want to say it?
Yeah, hi, Mom.
You guys? Like, we love dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs, dragons, you can pick all of them.
Okay.
Scales.
Well, thank you guys very much for coming to Russell's panel. It was
Yeah,
an
thank you,
awesome
guys.
experience.
Have a nice day, guys.
right.
I'll be at the table if you want to take a look at the
Let's give
sketchbooks and
Russell.
stuff.
Can I give a shout out?
No problem.
Hey, Meg.